How are you?
Good.
Yeah, it's called House. That's what the K. Yeah, it's in the house. Yeah. I can talk to him.
It's not on the agenda. I just called back earlier. Because I usually copy them on my Sunday. Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Will I get the corner spot?
So I don't know what you're comfortable doing. Some of the people in the past have brought the books that you could actually get on to ODOT's website and the agendas, but I also have hard copies. And I don't know if she didn't. Let me grab you something to write with.
Okay.
Not that you're going to take notes, but if you decide you want to write one for something, there's some pads there too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And just kind of so you know, Superintendent Thomas will probably introduce you.
Okay.
And then just maybe ask you to talk about yourself. If you're senior and
Okay.
that kind of stuff. So just so you know.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Let me grab your bottle of water too.
What? Hope not.
Just in the car, and he's like, you guys actually check someone else and blood and stuff?
Hey, you'll see recently. Okay.
Okay, here you go.
Thanks.
Yep. And going forward, the week before the meeting, I usually send the agenda out. And so now that I know, because Scott just told me your name, I'll add you to that so you don't freak out when you see Sharon Denford coming up on there. So you'll just get it and you'll be able to click on it and it'll open the agenda right up for you. Okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I can't do that. We sat in the wrong seat.
Oh, here comes a fourth one.
Oh, gosh.
You're just saying all the shiny things. All the shiny things. If I cut my hair out, I would bald though. That's why I do mine.
What?
I weren't busy. That smells good.
Provided
Like I was talking to Jameson, because Jameson is being last night. And so I didn't even know if I thought we were getting back home. I said, he shows up around. Jameson, come here, like you're about to look about this door. And I like wrecked him, because it was this like instinct, and the cats were like, why'd you wreck Jameson? Because I was scared. I told her. Bangers. Yeah, that huge one, and then we just got open. The kids were like, that's scream. Yeah, he comes in after school and he sits there. Where's that? Hi, buddy.
We're well on our way, aren't we? We're going on the breaks. Full speed ahead. Come in.
Nervous with her leg. No, thank you.
Anyway, next one's my name. Pumpkin French toast. Oh, apple cider. So we switched it so that I have them for the whole time. Because we couldn't make it. Even though they're different, they still take them 25 minutes to cook. So by the time they're done, you know, like it just takes so long to get to like, it has like a little like toaster oven and then it's actually pretty big. It's bigger. It's not like a yeah, it's a little bit. It's about this big. It'll fit like 6 feet.
This little thing by the not seeing
So it's real like the one that like you use like all that night.
It's not what
Little bit.
It's actually lucky that I can live in
It's always funny to me because, you know, I've been with them for a few years. Hi, how are you? Did you have your cancer? Yes. I mean, that's good. Usually. But I'm like, it's a lot. We all know that is.
I think you should move all the names around. Do something while you're alive.
That one probably will change it. So that's what I was doing for.
I'm doing good. That one's like 3/4.
How's your wife? Good. How's your wife?
How are you?
She holding up okay?
How are you? Oh, I don't need
How's it going? Good. You're welcome. You bet.
Hey, there's a familiar face. I'm Krista. I went to school with your parents, so. Brandon and I graduated together. It's tough the days that we make it, the days down there. Mother taught all my kids.
We want you to take your hat off. There you go. Walked in here.
They have this for you, but we put your, yeah, we put it in. Yeah, we put it in the drawer, so bear with me.
Nope, appreciate it. Thank you.
Take good care of her.
We thought we got it. We got it covered.
Yeah, I appreciate it. The league football.
Everybody here? Nope, Brian. Better anybody. Well, welcome. Glad you can join us, Mr. Thomas. All right, it is 6:03, and I'm going to call to order the Union County School District Number 1 Board of Trustees Board Meeting. Would you all please join me in pledge allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right.
I will go through this step. I wasn't going to, but I will. So I need a motion to go into the board meeting.
So moved.
I have a motion, I need a second.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussions? No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. We are now in session. So I need to approve the agenda for tonight, and I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussions? Any changes? No? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda items. A, minutes. B, payment of bills. C, Rocky Mountain Power easement. And D, the sped-related services contract for the OT.
So moved.
I have a motion. I need a second.
Second that motion.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. All right, Mr. Thomas, we can go into some presentations.
Members of the board, before we get into the presentations, I'd like to introduce our newest board member.
All right.
I'd like to welcome Colby Nelson as our student representative. Colby is the student body president. And I've seen him in action already. I think he's going to do a wonderful job, good with the kids, and we're excited to have him. And we'll apologize ahead of time that sometimes these get a little long, but speak up when you have an opinion about what's happening, especially if it's a student-related issue. We'd like to hear your opinion. And sometimes out of the blue, they'll ask you your opinion, so we're ready for that. So, Colby, thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
So, an open mic to kind of start off with our principals. Back to school report. So any of the principals that would like to come up and kind of tell us how the first couple weeks have gone? Like I said, didn't assign anybody, I just asked.
And ask and they will show up.
Right. Well, welcome back to a new school year, right? Just a real quick update from EMS. We are bursting at the seams with 6th graders, but it's awesome. It is neat to see that many little bodies running around and smiles on their face. They're learning their locker combinations and getting from class to class, and so we've made through that transition. Our motto so far has kind of been talking about raising the bar. Not just raising the bar from attendance to behaviors and all the way up to academic grades and how we score later in the year. We're pushing that message through as a staff. From the front office. It's been a really good start of the year. We have just lots of kids in our after-school programs, our activities, which is awesome to see. I know that we had a football jamboree last week, got a game tomorrow, volleyball game Friday, so we're kind of really rolling and just really getting after it. So we're excited about a new school year and got a full staff. Lots of new support staff, across our fingers, and it's been a long time since we've had a complete full support staff also, and so super good things going on at Evanston Middle School. Thank you.
Real quick, Mr. Fackrell,
Yes.
I just want to tell you thank you for being visible to the students.
Yeah.
One of mine is one of those 6th graders, and then one of Trevor's is one of those 6th graders. And I asked them how they like middle school, and they argued over who their principal was, and they said, no, it's the bald guy. So they know,
a bunch of us.
They know you, and your presence around the school is felt, so I
Thank you.
appreciate that very
It's-
much.
It's a great place to be. It's fun to talk to the kids and see the staff out meeting the kids in the building. We have them, give them high fives when school's out, so they know that they had a great day and want them to come back the next day. So I appreciate that.
Just okay with there. I'm a 6th grader, same as yours, and locker combinations is a difficult thing.
Oh boy.
Chromebooks, remembering those, and chargers, a lot on their plate, but you know, they're smiling and there's a lot of good mojo what I'm seeing, so.
Yeah, it's been good. It's fun to watch the 6th grade staff sit out the first few days, and we're switching the really short, you know, the little bitty ones, because they've always got the really tall lockers.
Right.
And we're trying to make all those switches, and but we just run with it, go with the punches, and it's a great group of kids, all classes, you know, and again, we're off to a good start. We want to just continue that momentum.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thanks for your enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Anyone else?
Come on down.
My summer's coming up, just so you know, we have 69 new students. That's the first time, I think, in 12 years we've had more than 50 new students.
Wow, great.
Well, we are excited at North Elementary for all of the remodeling projects that have taken place. So we wanted to thank Jaron and the support of the district and all of you, because it's made a big difference for our school. It looks beautiful. We want to invite you to come over. Our last playground was finished last week, so the kids are super thrilled that now that we're rotating through. And I just want to say how proud of my staff. I love going to school. That's been our motto. Do we love pulling into our parking lot to look forward to the people that we work with, and most of all the students. And we've already had so many great positive meetings. We're running all of our assessments, and so excited for the end of this week so that we can get all of our interventions up and going. That's the hardest part in elementary, is figuring out where everybody goes, which talents, and which way can we either extend or support. So we just really want to thank you guys. Definitely the remodeling's fabulous, but what an amazing staff I have, so I just want to give them a shout out. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman Peterson, members of the board, I'm Brad Francis, principal at Uinta Meadows Elementary. Kind of ditto to what Summer said, such a great start to the school year. Incredible enthusiasm from kids. It's just been so much fun. One thing that I wanted to touch on, we added an extra layer of behavior support this year with Austin Moon, and she has been fabulous. We had to restructure all of how we manage behavior at Uinta Meadows Elementary, and I want you to know it's going very, very well. We have multiple layers of support now. Kids are in classrooms more often. We're able to, in our refocus room, get kids back on track where they need to be and back in classrooms, and also add that layer of consequences and discipline, which is vitally important for these kids too. Meeting them where they're at, but also then giving a consequence and going, we're not going to, have this at Uinta Meadows Elementary, and raise that bar, kind of like Mr. Fackrell talked about as well. So excellent. I appreciate the support. Our staff have taken on to it really, really well and are using it, and so grateful for that. And we're going to see some really positive things at Uinta Meadows because of that. So we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Probably last is Colby. How did the year start?
It's been great. I like all of my classes. It's a little rough that first week. The assembly's always a little rough, but we got through it. It's been a pretty good year so far.
Thank you. Chairman Peterson, that's all I have.
Okay. So I guess we can go down to our discussion items, Mr. Thomas.
Chairman Peterson, members of the board, we had all the questions that you had and I had answered by the Clark staff. Appreciate their willingness to be here tonight. So if you do have questions, and then you can ask them. But we have no concerns with the liability coverage, which was probably my biggest question. So we're good there. The supervision question that we had or posed or talked about, the supervision at the camp will be very similar to any activity that's an overnight stay. So coaches or sponsors, we don't have an adult in the rooms with the kids, but they have supervision responsibilities over them. And I'm a lot more comfortable with our staff supervising our kids than others. So my recommendation is you say hats off to them and let them move ahead and have this camp. Good. Unless you guys have changed your mind. That's it. Okay.
All right.
Do you guys, anything you want to add? You're welcome to come up. They'll vote on it later. So, okay, you guys are good? It's like we're good?
No, the only thing that I'm going to bring up, and it's just a general, broad statement. I think what you do is fabulous. I really do, right? But in place, we have a policy, and that policy is middle school and younger do not stay overnight. And if we go forward with this, then I think we as a school district need to change our policy. because every single year we go through this. Every single year we go through Teton Science School, now Uintah County Science School. Every year we go through the Hispanic group going to there, and if we're going to go this way, then let's just change the policy. And that way we don't have to go through these variances all the time. So if it's policy, then if we want to change it, then let's change the policy.
Chairman Peterson, members of the board, the way I'd respond to that is, I still like the policy. I like the idea that to make an exception, they need to come before us and explain how they're going to provide supervision and how they're going to pay for it. Then we can make an exception to that rule. If we open it up, then we struggle with making that exception. And I know it's the same presentation for Teton Science Fair. I know it's the same presentation for our science, our foreign language group. But we're following the policy that the only way you can make an exception is to come to the board, and the board can do that. I think I've been pretty open. It scares the heck out of me that we have these young kids overnight, but we have staff willing to do it. My hat's off to them. And that's why I support it. I really thought about changing the policy, but I think it works. We've only made a couple exceptions to that policy, and thank goodness we haven't had any issues. So as long as we have staff willing to supervise kids that young on overnight activities, I think we support them.
Well, and I'm extremely comfortable with having our own staff do it. I would trust this group of people to do that over trusting like Teton Science School. So I think it's a great opportunity for kids, and I think they'll do a fantastic job, and I'm not concerned about it. But I do agree with you. I think if we change the policy and we open that up, so we don't have to approve middle school and younger, I think we're asking for trouble.
I know, but then I'm going to go to the other side of it. Any of you going to stop a basketball team from going to Casper now? Any of you going to stop a middle school aeronautics? Any of you going to stop math counts? Any of you going to stop any other group that comes before this board that wants to go somewhere? And if we are there when we are subject, that we have set precedent, that we're going to approve it. So that's all I'm saying, is if it is policy, then it is policy. And if it's not policy, and I agree, I'm not arguing with you over this point. The point is, it's nice that we have the support. Trust me, I love you guys to death for what you do. I really do. And I appreciate it. I have nothing against that, but we do have a policy. And like you, I'm scared to death because I hear of other horror stories in other districts and other kids. And so it does make me a little antsy with little kids going that far. And like I said, if it is policy, and I like the idea of being able to control it, but then we're in a position, if somebody else comes before this board, how do we decline them?
Well, if they don't have a good plan in place, then we can decline it. Like, if any of those groups you mentioned, if Mrs. Peterson came tomorrow and had a good plan in place to take math counts, I don't know why we wouldn't approve it. If that was her desire and she had worked this hard to get a program going, I would have no problem with it as long as she's got the good plan in place.
I think we have denied certain activities, correct, as a board? And so I think it's not always a precedence and approval. I think the way we've been doing it, you can, to your point, David, is it gives us an opportunity to vet it a little bit.
I know we've had this discussion too. I think we're very fortunate that we can still do these things. There's going to be a time where we won't be able to. And the time is now that we have to look at every away trip, 6 through 12 right now, and decide those that we can bring a bus home later to save funds, but also save the idea of supervision overnight. So that is reality now. But I do look at this as something that is truly special. So is Teton Science, even though it scared me. The idea, probably 50 to 60% of our kids will never have the opportunity to camp. And our elementary staff are willing to do that and take time out of their own lives. And until we can't, and it's probably coming, I think we say, okay, we trust you.
No, and like I said, I'm going to approve it, right? My vote's going to be, I'm going to, right? I'm going to support it. But I just want people to be aware of my concerns as we go forward, you know, and you know, like I said, I think it's a fantastic thing. It just makes me really nervous, you know, and I just hope everything goes well. And like I said, I have full confidence in our staff. I really do. It's just the unpredictable things and be reactive to things that maybe we could have avoided, you know, so, but anyway, so that's my comments, my 2 cents, so we can move on. So, Mr. Thomas, we'll move forward.
Okay. Chairman Peterson, members of the board, the next thing on the agenda is our discussion item, or excuse me, strategic plan update. I'm going to plug this in. I think we've told you that. John, I'm going to unplug it. That we went through the board goals. I think you guys are comfortable with those. We've been working with the administrative team to update the district goals, and that's what I'd like to show you. So you can see the district goals up there. I guess the front can't, you guys can. You can see that we still have accountability goal. That has not changed. That still deals with our high reliability skills work. School improvement, accountability deals with the state accountability issues. And our expectation is that we are meeting or exceeding those state expectations. That hasn't changed. School improvement goal is our HRS requirements. In discussion, it makes more sense that this is our goal that focuses on school improvement. It used to deal with instruction, but HRS is all encompassing, so it's really our school improvement goal. Attendance, we like what's going on with our attendance practices and policies, and what we're really asking is you give us a chance to work with the administrative team. We have a group that works with attendance and come up with a specific goal based on that work. So what you can see from our attendance goal is improving attendance of all students, especially those chronically absent. There's a fundamental focus K-12. K-12 administration will work closely with an attendance team to develop a district goal that directs the district's focus on improving student attendance. Still one of my primary focuses is attendance. You can't do much if you don't get kids to school. So that's our new attendance goal. Behavior, focus on positive behavior supports to improve behavior to all students. Evidence of improvement through school behavior data and staff surveys. If you recall, it used to be a specific percentage of increase, but each of our schools have their own focus. Each of their schools are working on their own behavior goals. Each of their own schools have challenges. So as a district goal, we're trying to improve behavior across the board, and this is to let them be more specific in their goals. Part of the things I'd like to do this year is to have each school principal come up through the year and present their building goals and where they are, as we've done in the past. I think that's what our presentation should be this year. And then an instructional goal, which we have had, but this focuses on our focused teacher evaluation model, tools to improve instruction through increasing understanding of the instructional elements within the F10. So again, kind of empowering our principals to work with the staff members to improve instruction using that evaluation tool. So those are the district goals. You guys will have an opportunity to improve this strategic plan. Again, you know that it has our vision and mission, our core values, our board goals, district goals, and then our critical commitments, and they have not changed. And then, of course, our non-negotiables. So this is our strategic plan. I recommend that you approve it when the time comes later today.
Thank you. Any discussion? No questions? All right, we'll move on to C, policy IKFB, graduation exercises.
Give me 1 second to get started. Yeah. Members of the board, this is the work that's been done for probably a couple years on our graduation exercises. Nothing really different than what we've done in the last couple of years. It just wasn't in policy. So we've updated the policy. What you see in red will be deleted. What you see in yellow is mostly wording changes. This is work done by Principal Lester last year, and now Principal Kohler this year. Scott, do you have anything you want to add with these?
No, I think just what you said is what we've been doing, just
It's really straightforward. Again, I think we just tried to clean up some of the language. It clarifies our valedictorian policy and how that is calculated, and just I tried to make it simpler in terms of how the math works, but the math hasn't changed. And bottom line is our valedictorian or salutatorian become the speakers at graduation, and possibly the student body president or the senior class president. So 3 speakers as student speakers who will have a graduation. None of that's changed, but we do recommend that later you approve this at first reading.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, that's the last of our discussion items. We can now move on to public comments. I got a full house. Nobody wants to come say anything?
Yeah, we pretty much solved the issue.
I think everybody came. Yep. I think we're in good shape. So if there is no public comments, we will move on to our action items. First on our action items is personnel, and I don't think we addressed any personnel.
You don't?
Yeah.
You know what that means?
We're good.
We're staff.
We're staff.
Good. Good.
Okay, so we could have removed it. Okay, action items number B, to approve the Uintah County Science Camp.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the Uintah County Science Camp.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? None? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Congratulations, guys. Okay, we'll move on to action item number C. We need to approve the strategic plan Pathway to Excellence.
So moved.
I have a motion, I need a second.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Moving on to action item E, we need an approval to seek bids for financing of 2 buses and vehicle per D. See, I've done that again. I've done that like 2 weeks in a row.
Are you dyslexic there?
I check off before I need to. So I'm on D. So I need to approve the first reading of IKFB graduation exercises.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the policy IKFB graduation exercises.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussions? None? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. I won't check that off too early. So I need to move to action item E, approval to seek bids for financing 2 buses and vehicle purchases. Mr. Fackrell. Oh, no, sorry.
That's okay.
Mr. Williams.
Is here too.
I know, I thought that was on the top of the list, so that's why I read it, I promise you.
Mr.
Mr. Williams.
Mr. Chairman Peterson and members of the board, the title is kind of self-explanatory. Do you have any questions? We have 2 buses coming in. We need financing. We'll go out to bid for it.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Any questions, let me know.
Okay, thank you, sorry, I should have looked up. Now, Mr. Fackrell.
Just on the vehicle purchase side, it's that time where we get bids for 2 new buses to continue our 2 new every year. And we still need to keep updating our staff vehicles, so that's something else we'll be looking at this year. So, any questions about any of that?
Remember, the positive thing about these buses is we're 100% reimbursed for 5 years. So we've got to keep up on that inventory.
Yes,
Staff vehicles, not so much, but it's been a long time since we've done some of these vehicles.
And we've actually kind of skipped a year with buses because it's been 18 months since the time we've ordered to time of delivery. So this last year, we kind of skipped a year, so we need to definitely keep up with that too.
Good.
Sounds good, thank you.
Thank you.
So we recommend you approve the bids and for both items. Going out to bid.
Going out to bid, yeah, I was gonna say, I didn't see the bids on them yet, so we're just going out to bid, okay. So I need approval to seek bids for the financing of 2 buses and vehicle purchases.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Now we will move on to action item F, approved transportation requirements. I, bus students within state mandated walk areas, and II is to drive on private property.
Chairman Peterson, members of the board, this is what we do annually, required by law that we get approval for those two things. Anything else?
This basically just updated to keep up with changes every year.
Good. Okay. All right, so I need an approval to approve transportation requirements I and II.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve transportation requirements as presented.
I'll second that.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Going on to action item G, to approve early diploma requests.
Chairman Peterson, members of the board, recommend that you approve the two core requests that we have for early diplomas as approved by the high school staff.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the early diploma requests as discussed in the executive session.
So moved.
Second that.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Now, that completes our action items. I need a motion to recess our regular school board meeting and go into our open budget hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion.
I can second that.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. We are now in the budget hearing.
Okay.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
As interesting as this sounds.
I think we should vote on it at the very end. Make them stay around.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, first off, I guess on this is an audit update. And we have completed the field work for the audit. In fact, the audit is, in speaking with the auditors this morning, they said unit 1 is pretty much done. We also have two components, units, that go with our audit. The first is the BOCES, and the BOCES is pretty much done as well. However, Parks and Rec, their audit has not begun. And so plan on receiving the audit from the auditors in November is what it is. So it's really just getting all the numbers. Now, this right here is a statement that I received a couple weeks ago now, and this hasn't been updated from the auditors. So this right here, basically, if we go down to the bottom, you'll have the total fund balances at the end of the year is $2.8 million. Okay, and that's with the domes that have taken place. Also in that, if you look at this net change in fund balance of $3.6 million, there is some net tax shortfall money of close to $900,000, a little bit more than $900,000, that we will receive in October. So that number right there, you could put $1 million to the good for that number, 2.6, which is really close to the amount that we thought the domes would cost. I did receive a question from Trustee Wheeler about, are we done? And then talking with Jaron, he said we have about $40,000 worth of landscaping left to go. Okay, so it's not done, but for all intents and purposes, it's pretty much done. And things. So the question that you might have in your mind is, okay, so why are you convening a budget hearing? The budget that I present to you in July of each year is on pretty much a cash basis. In other words, we budget, that we're going to basically write checks for the following amounts of money and things. That is sufficient, and I could submit that, and I did submit that to that. But what is reported in the audit is on what's called a modified accrual basis, and that includes things like leases. And so when we have a lease that goes in, that causes things to kind of gross up, and so that we don't have the footnotes saying by the auditor saying, yes, the district was in compliance on a cash basis, but it shows differently with a modified accrual basis. I want to make it so it looks good, and we don't even have to have a footnote on there. And so you received in your packet today, or this last week, an adjusted amounts and things. And in here, in the general maintenance budget, that has been grossed up to include that lease that came from Train as well. And then there was also in business administration, there was a little bit of adjustment that I had to do for, I believe in part, there was a couple things. The telephone services, we got a bill that needs to be included in there as well. The other thing that I've done is I've also budgeted in here on this adjustment the proceeds from capitalized, contributed capital, unrealized gain on investments, transfers and things, so that we've got budgets all throughout there. For instance, this year, major maintenance paid for something for food services, and there's a transfer there. So it was part of this approved payment, but food service gets the major maintenance benefit for that. And in order to do that, I've got to have a transfer that goes there. So basically, I've made some adjustments on that. I have run these numbers with our auditors. They are fine with it. It will be in compliance. I am requesting approval of the board for those adjustments.
It's a question on the 900,000 that's coming in October. Is that realized for last year's, or is this going to be realized for?
It'll be realized for this next year. So on the modified accrual, if we were a business, we could count that. But since we're a government, we only have it's about a 45-day window in which we can recognize that until the auditors come. And so we can't recognize that until October. Right. So that's why it doesn't show. But if we were a business, yes, by all means, that would be part of that. So.
I'm just thinking $900,000 go a long ways, but he's got a place for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's already got to spend it.
Chairman, members of the board too, if you recall, we asked you to trust us with the domes, and we told you by the time we're done, we believe we'd have $3.5 million left. We'll have more than that.
Have more,
so I think that's important to remember that we did have some over expenditures with the domes, but still we came in above what we told you we would. So.
So. Any other questions on that? So with
No. Any other questions, guys? No. Fantastic.
Okay. Well, thank you.
So, that was part of our discussion items, A, audit update, and 23-24 budget items. Adjustments, what did I say? Items, adjustments. All right, do we have any public comments at all on those adjustments? Nope. Okay, we'll move on to the action items. I need an approval to approve the 23-24 budget amendments. Adjustments.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to approve that.
It says amendments.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay. You're all beat up tonight.
Ours doesn't.
Right here. So, I need, are we on the motion? Well, are we on a second now?
Yeah, already done.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. We approved the budget amendments on my paper. Thank you.
Aha, okay.
All right. So I knew I needed a motion to adjourn the budget hearing.
So moved.
Second that motion.
So I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. We are adjourned from the budget hearing. Now I need a motion to reconvene the regular school board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion?
Caleb was the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. We are now back in our regular board meeting. Now we move on to our round table. Any comments? Crickets. Wow, I'm about record-setting pace here.
This is.
It is.
Mr. Chairman,
No, I'm gonna, okay.
I was just going to say, remember Wyoming School Board meeting, no, conference in November 20th and 22nd. If you want to go to that, let us know as soon as possible. We'll get you registered for the hotels. Mr. Wheeler and I will be attending the roundup next week. Sorry you guys miss out on that. Drive to Kemmer and that meeting, but we'll take care of it for you. But anyone who's interested in Wyoming School Board's conference, they've really been pretty good at keynote speakers recently, and good information for you as board members. I'll be attending, so I'd love to drive you if you want.
I just want to say about the border wars, I thought it was handled very nicely. I spent a lot of time at all the schools because you moved around, and I thought for Evanston, and it was done very nicely, and most everybody that participated, I think, enjoyed it. There was a lot of schools here.
We did, and even the football games, we packed this town and we brought a lot of money to this community with our activities that we did. But what I wanted to say was to thank you, every one of you back there for the beginning of the school year. Hopefully things are going well. I have a wife that is a teacher and is having a phenomenal beginning of her year. Thank you, Mr. Fackrell. So thank each and every one of you on the administrative side. So,
Here, here.
all right, with that, I need a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion?
We can't leave this early.
And you raised this early in my.
You know what's going to sound bad? We'll adjourn.